Welcome to the sewing video. I've cut out pattern on fabric. I've also added seam allowance. I'm lining. So this is the front and this is the back. You may not line yours, although you need an overlocker. So here are other details I'm going to be using. This is going to serve as the belts. I have 4 of these. The width of the belt is 1 inch. So after sewing, I would have 1 inch. Then this detail will serve as the band that I'm stitching to the hem. The width is about 3 inches, but it's on fold. Then this detail right here is going to serve as the ruffles. I'm going to be gathering back to the neck circumference of the front and back. I'll be attaching this ruffle after I stitch the shoulder together. Okay, so I'm gathering about times 3 of this, times 3 of the neck circumference. So I'm stitching the shoulders. So I like to pin before stitching. So I'm doing 0.5. So here's fabric and here's lining stitched together at the shoulder. So right now I'm going to take that ruffle detail right here. I'll be running my gather stitches and I'll gather it back to the neck circumference. Okay, so just measure around the neck and gather it back to it. So here we go. I'm going to lay the fabric of the crop top right sides facing up. I would adjust it fine. I'll take the ruffle, I'll lay it on the fabric right sides facing up as well. Okay, so the fabric and the ruffle, they are both facing the same direction, right sides up. Then I'll take my lining and place it over the ruffle and fabric right sides facing down. So in essence, the ruffle is going to be sandwiched in between lining and fabric. At this stage, if you do not want to line, just stitch ruffle to the fabric and then overlock these rough edges, because I tell you the ruffle will frill. Okay, so here I've stitched the ruffles to the neckline. I sandwiched it between the lining and fabric. I also did the top stitch. So this is it. You don't have to do this if you have an overlocker. Next thing, I'm going to be sewing the armhole and the side seams. So here it's all done. Armhole and side seams neatly sewn. I'll be pressing this. So before pressing, I would attach the band to the hem of the crop top. So I'm opening the band. You know, I told you it's on fold. So I'll stitch one part of the band to the fabric all around the hem, and then the other one I will be stitching to the lining with 0.5 seam allowance. Here we go. You can see that line of demarcation between the lining and the band down here. See that contrast? So neatly pressed. You can see how neat the garment is inside and outside. So next I'll be sewing the center back, but before I do that, I'm going to flip this crop top into the wrong side. So we are on the wrong side. I'll be stitching the center back 0.5, but before I do that, I would infuse these belts into the center back seam allowance. Okay, so I'll take one of the belts, I'll go straight up to the neckline at the top. I'm going to put the belt on the neckline this way and fold lining over it. Okay, making sure that the belt is on the inside. And then I'm going to pin this down in place. And then I'm going to measure about 8 inches down, 8 inches deep I want the space between the first belt and the second belt to be 8 inches apart. So I'm going to infuse the second belt. It's going to be sandwiched between lining and fabric. So I'm going to pin in place. So it's time to sew 0.5 seam allowance. Make sure the ruffle is not in the way. Okay. So here it is. The ruffle. Do not forget to edge your ruffle with bias binding. You could also do a rolled hem since it was gathered. So here's how the inside is going to look if you line it. So sewing techniques like this are available on my online class if you want to know how to sew with lining like this. Although it's not compulsory for you to line, okay? Just have an overlocker to overlock the raw edges, have a bias binding to, just give it a neat finish. You don't have to line. So I'm gonna hang this on my mannequin. Yeah, look at this. This is a ruffle. You can see how full it is. You can see how full the front part of the crop top is. If you want to have a flowy look, you could use chiffon. You could use soft crepe for more flowy look, okay, and more flares. Let me show you the back. Here we go. This is going to look good on you, okay? I know this will look good on you once you try this out. You need to rock this. Ta-da! So please like, share, subscribe, click on the notification. See you in the next video. Bye.